There are many negative impacts carbon dioxide emissions have on the environment and how they change the climate. We're going to look at what we can do to change that. First, let's check out a specific climate change problem.
One specific negative impact on the environment is the overflow of carbon dioxide in the environment. But first, let's take a look how CO2 warms the environment. Carbon dioxide does not absorb the energy from the sun, but it does absorb some of the heat energy released from the earth. When a molecule of carbon dioxide absorbs heat energy, it goes into an excited, unstable state. It can become stable again by releasing the energy it absorbed. Some of the energy released will go back to the earth, and some will go back into space. So to shorten this, it means that carbon dioxide lets light energy in, but it does not let all of the heat energy out. Let's check out how humans contribute to the CO2 in the atmosphere.
CO2 is the primary greenhouse gas emitted through human activities and other natural sources. One natural source includes decomposition of organisms and plant and animal respiration. Other sources are burning of organic compounds and burning fossil fuels. Unfortunately, humans have taken this burning fossil fuels too far. According to the EPA, 82% of all greenhouse gas emissions are from human activities. As of November 19, 2014, CO2 is at 395.93 parts per million. Carbon dioxide is naturally present in the atmosphere as part of Earth's carbon cycle, but human activities are altering the cycle. This altering of the carbon cycle is causing more CO2 to be released into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. Now let's take a closer look about how cars contribute to the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere.
One big issue gasoline composes is that it emits an abundant amount of global warming emissions. Collectively, cars account for nearly 1/5 of all U.S. emissions, emitting around 24 pounds of carbon dioxide and other global warming gases for every gallon of gas. About 5 pounds comes from the extraction, production, and delivery of the fuel, while a great bulk of the heat-trapping emissions, more than 19 pounds per gallon, comes right out of your car's tailpipe. Now that is a serious issue. In total, the U.S. transportation sector, which includes planes, trains, ships, and freights, produces around 30% of all U.S. global warming emissions. So how do we stop contributing to this epidemic? The most effective way to reduce carbon dioxide emissions is to reduce fossil fuel consumption. But if we reduce the burning of fossil fuels, another fuel must take its place. So let's look at some of these options.
Option number 1 is propane. Propane is non-toxic, non-poisonous, and insoluble in water. Compared with vehicles fueled by conventional diesel and gasoline, propane vehicles can produce lower amounts of some harmful air pollutants and greenhouse gases depending on vehicle type, drive cycle, and engine calibration. There are 2 types of propane vehicles, dedicated and biofuel. Dedicated runs only on propane, while biofuel propane vehicles have 2 separate fueling systems that enable the vehicle to drive on either propane or gasoline. Interest in propane as an alternative transportation fuel stems mainly from the domestic availability, high energy density, clean burning qualities, and relatively low cost. Compared with vehicles fueled by conventional diesel and gasoline, propane vehicles can produce lower amounts of harmful emission depending on the vehicle type.
Option number 2 is electricity. Most of electricity in America is produced by steam turbine generators at power plants from resources like coal. Electricity is a lot cheaper than buying gas and using gas, but is this really a good source of alternative energy? If we use electric cars instead of gasoline, it is not bad directly, but indirectly. The electric cars don't emit any emissions directly, but burning coal is polluting the atmosphere. According to the Union of Concentrated Scientists, coal plants are the nation's top source of carbon dioxide emissions and the primary cause of global warming.
Option 3 is biofuel. Biofuel is a type of fuel made from cooking oil and grease. Biofuel has been around as long as cars have, but only recently has it gained popularity. Because of discoveries of huge petroleum deposits that kept gasoline and diesel cheap for decades, and biofuels were largely forgotten. However, with the recent rise in oil prices, along with the growing concern about global warming caused by carbon dioxide emissions, biofuels have been gaining popularity. Let's take a closer look at what biofuel is. First, there is one type of biofuel in particular which is important, biodiesel. Any car with a diesel engine can run on it, but the oil and grease needs to go through a chemical process first to transform the biodiesel, whereby the glycerin is separated into fat or vegetable oil. The process will be on 2 products, methyl esters and glycerin. Let's take a look at some facts about biodiesel. Biodiesel has the highest energy balance of any fuel, returning 5.5 units of energy for every unit of fossil fuel needed to produce it, which means it takes a lot less energy to produce than what it returns.
Overall, we looked at how CO2 can have a negative impact,
how humans are contributing to it,
and 3 different options to resolve the problem:
propane, electricity, and biofuel.
Our group has come to the conclusion that biofuel would be the best way to resolve our problem with using too much fossil fuels.
And it is a great and better way to help reduce the amount of harmful greenhouse gas emissions going into the atmosphere.
We hope you enjoyed our video.